The original Evil Dead trilogy has some of the most troubled history out of any horror franchise. We got rights issues, distribution issues, and there's a reason why the original trilogy was kind of weird. So here's a brief history of Sam Raimi's trouble getting this franchise pulled off. So back in 1978, when Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell first linked up for a short film called Within the Woods. Within the Woods was to serve like a prequel to the Evil Dead and was also used as a fundraiser to get money for the Evil Dead. Then when they finally got the budget to make the Evil Dead, originally the movie was going to be called Book of the Dead, but the distributor told Sam to change the name of the movie to The Evil Dead because he felt like anything with the word book in it would make audiences feel like they had to read. Everything with this movie was fine, except for the fact that it was a bit too gory and shocking and got banned in a lot of places, got slapped with an NC-17 rating, and really couldn't get any profit from theaters, which once again put Sam Raimi in a budget struggle if he was trying to make another movie. Now in the 80s, getting a sequel to a horror movie was something that was very common, so common to the point that a lot of times we was damn near getting a new movie of a certain franchise every year. The original Evil Dead came out in 1981, but Evil Dead 2 didn't come out until 1987. And if you notice, the original Evil Dead was called The Evil Dead, but Evil Dead 2 is only called Evil Dead. This time had lost the rights to the original Evil Dead, so if he wanted to make a sequel, he had to figure out a workaround. And since he couldn't include any footage or hardly any references to the first movie, Sam Raimi decided to essentially do a recap remake, which showed Ash back in the cabin, this time with just his girlfriend, discovering the Book of the Dead all over again. And that basically like erased the whole first movie because it kind of didn't happen. So a lot of fans recognize Evil Dead 2 as a complete remake, while other fans recognize that it's just like a half remake. And this is the movie that also put the Evil Dead franchise in more of a slapstick horror comedy genre. Now moving on to Army of Darkness, and you would think that those distribution rights were settled, but nope. Now Army of Darkness was released by Universal, but guess what? They didn't have rights to the Evil Dead name. Now luckily this was a brand new story, so Sam didn't have to do any remake recaps again. And he was able to reference the previous movie, which made this one a little bit easier. However, I do think it was a huge fumble that he did not name the movie The Medieval Dead. To me, this would have gave the franchise a lot more continuity with the names, but hey, I'm not a producer, so fuck it. But the thing is, due to legal red tape, he could not reference the Army of Darkness in any future Evil Dead projects. And that brings us all the way to Ash vs. Evil Dead. For the first 2 seasons, Ash never mentioned anything about the events of Army of Darkness. He only referenced really just Evil Dead 2. He was finally able to kind of reference it in season 3 when he said, oh yeah, there was that time I did travel back in time. But other than that, he couldn't say anything else. As a result, we got a cult favorite trilogy with zero continuity in the names or the distributors, and it's still happening, which is why none of the new Evil Dead movies are connected to each other at all.